You are listening to Culture Builders, the podcast giving you practical insights, tips, and tools on team culture and leadership. I'm JP Nurbin, a leadership coach, culture consultant, and the author of books like The Culture System. Learn more at tocculture.com. Event is not equal to explanation. So as human beings, when something bad happens, we lose a game, we receive an email getting feedback from our boss, or we open our cupboard and a load of containers falls out on top of us because our kids just threw them in there. This literally just happened to me before sitting down to write this Culture Builders out. Well, when these things happen, we often do two things quite quickly. The first thing is we make up a story about it. One of my stories is I've done everything I can to help our team. They just don't have the talent this year. We won't be any good. Or I do nearly everything right, but the second I make a mistake, my boss jumps on it. He's definitely looking to fire me and is building up a case. Or the story I made up a second ago was all I asked my kids to do was empty the dishwasher, and they can't even do that right. They're so lazy and don't appreciate the nice breakfast and lunches that I make them. The second thing we do is we hold our story to be the truth. We don't even entertain the possibility that my team could have just had an off night, or the other team could have played the best game of their lives, or we might have made an error in our game plan. Or we don't entertain that my boss could just struggle to give positive affirmation, or think that being hard on employees helps to motivate them, or I could just be taking feedback too seriously. Or my children could have been rushed. They could have had their minds set on something else. My wife might have thrown something in after, or our whole system for storing plastic containers could be flawed. And I believe this is actually the problem. So when we make up stories and believe our stories to be truth, the thing is we start living as if the story is the actual event, right? And here's the thing, is my story working for me? Is it helping me produce the results that I say I want? Well, our explanation, not the event, leads us to think, feel, and act towards certain results and away from others. So in the examples that I've given here, I'm depressed and I'm unmotivated the entire next day as I plan for and coach practice. I can be anxious around my boss and stop sleeping at night as I start thinking about trying to find a new job when I'm going to get fired. I also could end up lecturing my kids about doing a crappy job emptying the dishwasher and tell them they need to be more appreciative of all the things that I do for helping them out. Now, all three of these responses are likely not to work for me in producing the results I want, and they're all based on the belief that I can see things as they really are, when all I'm really doing is getting tied up in my own simple stories. The thing is, if the results you are experiencing in your life, if they're not working for you, start by paying attention to the stories you're telling yourself about your life. You want to improve your results? Start by telling a better story. That's it for today's episode. Please share it with your friends in coaching. And if you want to go deeper in your learning and growth, be sure to check out the Coach and Culture Certification Program at tocculture.com. It's an absolute game changer, and you can get 25% off that course, that certification course, or any other online course by just using the coupon code Culture Builders. Head on over to tocculture.com.